What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're here for some more of the Crew 2 customization, and today we're going to go ahead and customize this Drift Spec 370Z. Now, 370Z is quite an interesting car in this game because not only is the normal 370Z in the game, so is the Nismo, which I thought was quite weird. Anyway, you can see me here purchasing the car from the street racing kind of HQ, or the street racing family discipline area, and we're going to go ahead and take it to my house, customize it, show you guys all the options. There's actually quite a lot of gameplay with this one, in me and free roam drifting the car around, so you guys can get a good, grasp of what the physics look like for drifting, because obviously so far you've only actually seen, at least off me, the Murcielago video I did. But anyway, you can see me here just taking the car out, revving it up, and we actually do eventually take it to the garage where we can customize this car. And not surprisingly, there was a lot of customization for this specific car. The Japanese cars, again, it just doesn't surprise me that there's a lot for it. Usually the actual manufacturers are a lot more lenient with customization, because in Japan, obviously it's part of their culture more so than in the Western world. Like Ferrari, they're naturally gonna have problems with it, but Nissan, they really do embrace it. If you look on a lot of their social medias, they're always posting old cars that people own, usually customized. So that's really cool. I do like how Nissan do that. Now, some of the kind of eager beavers in the crowd may notice that this is a returning car to the Crew 2. So the 370 was in the last game, so a lot of the parts you're seeing here you may recognize from the previous game. Now, I did actually play a lot of the last game, but some of the parts I don't recognize, so I may be wrong in saying that some of the parts are new, but I do feel like some of the parts are new. And at least for this car, as you can quite clearly see, some of the parts are absolutely stupid. So I thought, you know what, instead of going from 1 to 40, let's go from 40 to 1 and see the most outrageous parts and go backwards, because those LED tail lights genuinely caught me by surprise. I was so surprised when I first saw that. You saw me for a second when I was scrolling through the first bumper. When I pressed the first bumper, I actually paused for a second because I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Little bit ridiculous. Anyway, as you can see, over 40 bumpers. I'm pretty sure this is the one car out of all the ones I've tried so far with the most customizations. 40 bumpers is a lot. The only annoying thing is obviously the headlights and stuff change with the bumpers, and it's not its own separate section. I do hope in the future they do separate it, because it is a bit clunky at the moment. I know they have had problems with the last game, especially being quite clunky in UI and stuff, but it's not the be all end all. It's just something which I kind of noted when I was playing. Anyway, as you can see, we're going to go ahead and carry on. This car does have front fenders and rear fender options. Not a lot of the cars do, but some of the more kind of tuner-based cars do have those rear fenders and front fender options. And there is a bunch of wangs, everything from GT wangs to little wangs. No ducktails, which I was a bit annoyed by, because I did kind of want to put a ducktail on the car, but I did make do. I think I put a pretty big wing on, because it was kind of, I tried to make it look like a drift car, if that makes sense, because obviously this is actually a drift spec car, so I kind of wants to make it look like what it actually is. Anyway, you can see going onto the rear bumpers here, and over 24 on the rear. Again, really cool. You've got bumpers that kind of look GT inspired. You've got ones which are more street inspired, ones which are more drift inspired, and obviously the tail lights change depending on which bumper you've got. So again, really cool to see the variation that they put in on the bumpers. And like I said a minute ago, the amount of content in this game is absolutely absurd. Now, one thing I haven't shown off an awful lot in my videos is the interior customization. I've talked about it a lot, but I've never actually shown it off. So as you can see, you can pick a main color and then actually choose what kind of pattern you want it to be in. So if you only want the red to be in the leather in the middle of the seats, you can do that. If you want Alcantara, you can do that. You can pick the middle inserts for the interior. The interior customization is the most in-depth I've seen in a game for ages. Absolutely, I can't even think of the last game that had interior customization. Probably the original The Crew. I can't think of the last game that actually had really good interior customization. And then you can also see, obviously, as we go into the video a bit more, I'm changing the rims. I've got a bit of a thing for, I think it's number 3 of the rims. It looks like the S13Ps, the Workmeisters. If anyone's a petrolhead, you might know what I'm talking about. But I've gotten a bit of epiphany for those rims. Obviously, these aren't licensed, so a lot of them are returning rims from the last game. And these ones are kind of BBS LM type rims. I just thought it suited the kind of meaty look I was trying to give to the car, and obviously the front camber, it just goes really well with the type of rim. Anyway, carrying on from that, you can see that you can also change the color of the car. You can change it from iridescent, you can have anodized color, obviously you got your gloss, your metallics. Really cool again to see that, and you can also actually do fine tuning to the paints, like similar to Forza and Need for Speed. So if you do want to do something like that, that's pretty goddamn awesome too. I do end up thinking I just made it white. I think I made it like a metallic white, simple but clean, and I thought it worked really well. Now, before we go ahead into the open world and show you guys a bit more of that, I do end up doing a few performance bits here and there, and actually go ahead and walk around the car in your house, because you can actually do that in this game, which is really cool. I also do want to say, though, I've posted like loads of the Crew 2 customization videos and information videos and stuff. So if you are interested in the Crew 2 and you want to see a lot more content from it, make sure to go ahead and say sub to the channel, because I'm going to be doing a lot more of it in the future. I usually upload kind of like highlight reels and like funny moments and stuff, and those, you know, will still be coming, but obviously with so much of the content new like coming out, I had to kind of cover it. Anyway, now I'm gonna go ahead and shut up, let you guys watch the rest of this gameplay, because I'm sure you guys are gonna want to see the drift gameplay, you know, raw with the sounds and stuff. One thing I will say before we actually go into that is I will quickly just talk about the drift physics before, you know, I let you guys watch that, just so you guys have a bit of a grasp on what I'm actually talking about. Now, I did talk about the drift physics very in depth in a separate video, which will be linked in the description in a playlist, but I'm just going to give it a kind of summary so you guys know what the hell is going on. Now, the drift physics are very different to the normal physics. It definitely feels like you're on a pendulum. You do need to counter steer, and it's all very interesting. It's very different to the original model. You're going to see now that the cars slide out more, they come out from the ass end of the car, and it's very difficult initially to get used to it, but once you do get used to it, well, I wouldn't say it's very difficult, but there's definitely a learning curve to it. You can't just go in and drift, otherwise that's going to happen to you, and you're going to see a lot of me failing in this video, because it does take a bit of a, you know, there's a bit of a learning curve to it. But it's really fun, and like I said, I will have more drifting gameplay on the channel soon, so all I can say really is stay tuned and more will be coming. But that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe and peace.